Welcome to my NFL Wildcard Picks video. Please play along and post your picks in the comments section below. Saturday starts off with a good one as Cleveland travels to Houston to play the Texans. Houston is a 3-point home dog and the over-under is 44. If you're wondering if this game sounds familiar, you are correct. These two teams played against each other Christmas Eve with Cleveland winning in Houston 36-22. Amari Cooper set a Browns record with 265 yards receiving, and even though the score was 36-22, it really wasn't even that close as the Texans scored 15 points late in the fourth quarter when Davis Mills replaced Case Keenum. That is correct. CJ Stroud did not play in that game, but he did play against the Colts last Saturday, and thanks to his play led the Texans to the AFC South title. The Browns were able to rest players last week, including Amari Cooper, due to the Browns being locked into the 5 seed, so the loss against the Bengals really didn't mean anything to the Browns. It's a popular thing to rest players going into the playoffs, and it's worked on veteran playoff teams in the past, but Cleveland hasn't been to the playoffs in the last 3 years. The Christmas Eve game is not a great game to gauge these two opponents. It's unlikely Cooper goes for 265 yards receiving again, and the Texans didn't have CJ Stroud. I think the rust could hurt, and I believe Stroud will outplay Flacco. Let's start this off with an upset. Texans 24, Browns 22. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins traveling to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs. Kansas City is a 3.5 point favorite and over-under is 44. As someone who lives in Kansas City, I can tell you winter has arrived, but the worst is coming. This weekend with game time temperatures are going to be in the single digits. It's actually going to be roughly 20 degrees colder here than in Buffalo when the Steelers play the Bills tomorrow. Betting alert: as game time approaches, the over-under will drop like the temperature. If you're betting on this game and you like the over, wait as long as possible before placing that bet. These two teams played in Germany week 9 with the Chiefs winning 21-14. If you don't remember the game, the Chiefs jumped out to a 21-0 halftime lead, but the Dolphins came back and had the chance to tie the game late. I remember being extremely impressed with Miami, and while not as good as the Chiefs, they were a dangerous team, then one I didn't want to see in the playoffs. With the weather conditions and the home field advantage that adds to the Chiefs simply having the better team, I like Kansas City here. Give me the Chiefs 24, Dolphins 16. If you are going to the Chiefs game Saturday night, I have some great tips on how to stay warm. Watch this video, how to stay warm at Arrowhead. Now on to Sunday's picks. The first Sunday game is Pittsburgh traveling to Buffalo to play the Bills. Buffalo is the biggest favorite of the weekend. They are a 10-point favorite with the over-under at 35.5. After their bye week 13, the Bills have been the hottest team in the NFL, winning 5 straight, and thanks to beating Miami last week, clinched their 4th straight AFC East title. Pittsburgh won 3 straight to end the season as they went to 3rd-string quarterback Mason Rudolph, and even though starter Kenny Pickett is healthy, Rudolph will stay as the starter throughout the playoffs. I like the way Pittsburgh's been running the ball during this 3-game winning streak, averaging 156.7 yards a game while only allowing 84.3. If Buffalo has a weakness, it's a rushing defense. Not terrible, but they do give up 4.6 yards per carry. That's 28th in the NFL. If Pittsburgh is going to win this game, they must be able to run the ball, and I think they can. And while they might not make Buffalo completely one-dimensional, they will limit the Bills' rushing attack and pressure Josh Allen into making a mistake or two. But unfortunately for Steelers fans, it won't be enough. Pittsburgh covers, but the Bills win. I got Buffalo 24, Pittsburgh 22. Next up, what has been called the Mike McCarthy Bowl as Green Bay travels to Dallas to play the Cowboys. Dallas is a 7.5 point favorite and over-under is 50.5. Dallas is the only team to go undefeated at home this season, and they are the highest scoring offense in football, averaging 29.9 points a game, but at home they average over 37 points a game. To make the playoffs, Green Bay had to win its last 3 games, and I really like the way the Packers played over the last 3 weeks, specifically running the ball. Aaron Jones has over 100 yards rushing in all 3 games during this streak, and the Packers averaged 154.9 78.3 yards per game. They only allowed 79.3 yards rushing during this same streak. That's important because the Cowboys defense is 5th in points and yards allowed. Now they are 16th in rushing yards allowed, and in their 5 losses allowed 858 yards rushing total. That's 171.6 per game. So there is a blueprint on how to beat the Cowboys. A.J. Dillon is questionable, and I think necessary if the Packers are to pull off the upset. As much as Jordan Love has impressed me this year, he isn't going to win in a shootout. If Green Bay controls the clock and runs the ball, they have a chance to win, but I don't see it. I like the Cowboys here. Dallas 34, Packers 24. Next up is the Rams traveling to Detroit to play the Lions. Detroit is a 3.5 point favorite, and over-under is 51.5. The storyline of these two quarterbacks playing against each other is awesome. Stafford returns to Detroit, where he played the first 12 years of his career, while Goff plays against the team that traded 3 first-round picks in order to draft him number 1 overall, then trade him to Detroit for Stafford 3 years ago. Out of all the games this weekend, I struggled with this one the most. The Rams are the hottest team in the NFC going into the playoffs, winning 7 out of their last 8, including the last 4, while Detroit wins the NFC North for the first time since 1993. Both teams have top 10 scoring offenses, and both have defensive coordinators that will interview for head coaching vacancies during the offseason. Both teams have a 1,000-yard receiver and rusher. Both teams got 41 sacks during the regular season, and both teams boast a defensive superstar. The big difference is the Rams rested players last week while Detroit didn't. In the game versus Minnesota, Pro Bowl tight end Sam Laporta got injured, and while listed as questionable, it's unlikely the star tight end will play, and if he does, he definitely won't be near 100%. The Rams are a veteran playoff team that rested starters. The Lions are new to the playoffs. I'm banking on the experience to pay off. LA in a fun one. I got Rams 34, Lions 32. The final wild card game is on Monday night, with Philly traveling to Tampa to play the Bucks. Tampa Bay is a 3-point home dog, and the over-under is 44. These are two teams heading in opposite directions in reaching the playoffs. Philly has lost 5 out of their last 6, while Tampa has won 5 out of their last 6. At one point this season, I fully believed that Philly was the best team in football, and I also believed it was a lock that Tampa Bay head coach Todd Bowles was going to be fired. The matchup favors the Bucks, who are 5th in rushing yards allowed, against an Eagles team that is run heavy, plus the Eagles are 31st in passing yards allowed, while Tampa Bay for the 2nd consecutive season are dead last in rushing yards. Baker Mayfield, however, has thrown for over 4,000 yards and has a pair of 1,000-yard receivers. This game prediction comes down to talent versus momentum. The Eagles are clearly the more talented team. Can they adapt and get off the slide, or can Tampa's momentum overturn talent? I don't believe teams can turn it on and off just like that, and the NFL is all about matchups. I like the Bucks here. Tampa Bay 20, Philly 16. Please let me know what your picks are for Wild Card Weekend. Drop a comment below and let's talk football. Don't forget, I go live every Tuesday and Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. On the live stream, all questions are answered and anything goes. I can't wait to see your picks and look forward to seeing you again, hopefully very soon.